So thank you so much for meeting with us today. Today we're speaking with Cassidy from Edesia Nutrition, and they'll be talking to us about malnutrition, therapeutic food treatments, and kind of the global state of food insecurity around the world. So firstly, can you tell us, what does Edesia do within the humanitarian space?
So Edesia is a manufacturer of ready-to-use therapeutic food. This is a food that is packaged in a manner that can sustain all sorts of environments. So up to 30 degrees centigrade for up to 2 years of shelf life. So ours takes place in the form of Plumpy Nut. This is a single sachet here. This product is used to treat severe acute malnutrition. We manufacture a line of products that are used to treat acute malnutrition in various forms in children under 5, as well as pregnant and lactating women. We also manufacture a line of preventative products that go to preventing malnutrition in pregnant and lactating women, as well as children that are 6 months to 24 months. So our role in the humanitarian sphere is to really equip humanitarian workers with products that can prevent children from dying. You know, whenever humanitarian workers are in the field, they're going to encounter malnutrition in various forms. They're going to see children that are being wasted or stunted due to a lack of nutrients in their diet. And that's really where Edesia comes in. We manufacture this product to prevent that from happening. So if they do see these children that are in this awful state, they can provide them with these sachets, and it can boost their immunity. It can help put fat on their bones. It can bring life back into a child. Nothing is worse than seeing a child not be able to be a child. So that's really what Edesia does, is that we strive to give life back to the children to prevent it being taken away from them due to unfortunate circumstances caused by war or famine or lack of availability or accessibility of food with our humanitarian products.
Wow, that's amazing. And in terms of the kind of treatment program that you'd likely see, what is the average kind of number of sachets that children would need to receive over the course?
Well, that's interesting because we actually have a line of various products. So we can start with Plumpy Nut, which is our most notorious product that we manufacture. So this one is for severe acute malnutrition. We give this to children typically under 5, 3 times a day, up to 7 weeks. Each sachet is about 500 calories. So that's a lot of nutrients going to treating the child, which is, an equivalent of a doctor prescribing you medication when you're sick. That's how we treat this product. It has to be distributed by either a doctor or nurse, a dietitian, and so on, because it does need to be handled with care. And it's also important to ensure that these products go specifically to the child receiving treatment, and not just to, all members of the family who might be hungry, because the whole point is to save the child's life. And the best way to do that is to ensure that they get the full treatment. We also have other products that we manufacture. So while UNICEF most commonly procures Plumpy Nut, I will say I'll touch on our other most common product, which is RUSF or Plumpy Sup. WFP is the primary procurer of this product. This is given to children once a day for up to 7 weeks, and it's for the treatment of moderate acute malnutrition. This product is highly versatile because we also manufacture Plumpy Dose, which is about half of this product, and that can be used in all sorts of situations, meaning it doesn't have to be as heavily prescribed. Plumpy Dose doesn't. So we can say that it's sort of a hybrid product that's both for treatment and prevention, and is scalable depending on an organization's need. So I would say those are our 2 primary products and their dosing, if you would. We do also have other products such as NutriButter or Enivmum that are given to babies and pregnant and lactating women for once a day, and then that can go on for the duration of pregnancy and lactation, and then for the children up to 24 months of age.
Amazing. So you have quite diverse products, and we are wondering how you kind of turn a project from concept to reality and what that process looks like as well.
Yeah, so we're working in tons of different contexts. There's all across the world going to be countries that have specific needs or products that are more readily available or more acceptable. So really, when this product was created, it was, how do you package something that is durable, can be shelf stable for a long time, and can handle extreme temperatures. So, we're taking that idea that, was used for the initial creation of these Plumpy products. And whenever we develop new ones, we're asking, how can we take it a step further? How can we use alternative sources, such as peanuts, for instance? Peanut butter is pretty easy to manufacture if you're in a place where peanuts are readily available, or highly accepted. But then as peanut prices go up, what's going to happen when you need an alternative and there's nothing really there? So we're really pushed into making new products by diversifying our resources, making sure that if the cost of peanuts go through the roof, what other commodity can we use to really keep the prices as stable as possible? So different alternatives that Edesia has dabbled with, for instance, is an all soy RETF, and as well as dealing with the chickpea flour and seeing how we can, incorporate that into the mix. But we've also, taken new concepts a little bit further. So another one that Edesia developed the formula for is going to be like Nutri-Skool, for instance. This was developed out of USDA's need for a product that can be used in schools. So this product is intended for schools that have no feeding program, no hot meals, and no funding to really do it. So organizations come in and they step in and they provide this to the children, because if you don't have children that are fed, they're going to be hungry, and therefore their quality of learning is going to decrease. So it's kind of a mixture between, the cost of the product, the needs for the product, and where the gaps are in the countries that these products are being distributed. Who are the populations that are suffering the most? Where can we do research to really create a product that can fill that gap? And also, taking it into reality, what organizations can use it? So we often do trials with our partners saying, hey guys, we've manufactured this product. Are you interested in it? Do you have the capacity to distribute this and to run a trial and to give us the results for it? And then in that way, we also get what's deemed as acceptability and how well it's taken in the country. So that's pretty cool, because then you get real life, data saying, this is the problem that we had with it. This was the issue in terms of getting it through customs. These were the issues in terms of distribution. Oftentimes there are problems with, oh, well, that's a different package. That's not the package we're used to. Like, what is this? And so also working with organizations for community outreach to really expand local knowledge on what the products are for and how they can be best leveraged. So there's, this bigger situation going on than just what's happening in our R&D lab. We're really talking with our partners, getting a better understanding of what's happening in the world and using that to develop our products.
I guess that really helps build capacity, because in the last instance, if you're using those kind of sachets in school settings, it kind of takes the capacity off medical staff, and it helps maybe more vulnerable or hard to reach communities in that way.
Exactly. These products, when they're sent to schools, they can sit on their shelves. The teachers can then hand them out. They're not required to be distributed by a doctor, by medical professionals. And because of that, they're really, really helpful in getting a little bit extra kick in the child's diet of, satiating that hunger while giving them the vitamins and minerals that they may be needing or lacking. And so because of that, we've had several organizations say, hey, this is really great. We have people who really need this product, but they're really, really hard to reach. So if we're going to do a drop off, we only want to do it once. And then we'll come back the next year and we'll do it again. And so in that sense, it's really helpful, because sometimes the logistics in actually getting products somewhere can be one of the biggest hurdles to encounter, in addition to, clearing customs and actually making the product itself. So that's something we try to keep in mind. And we also do tests periodically throughout a product's life to ensure that the taste stays the same, to ensure that the nutrients, in the product from its, initial production to its 2 years stays the same, with minimal degradation. But yeah, it's really key that we develop things that can be used in areas that are not easily navigable, or there's very little humanitarian footprint, or that can be kind of distributed within the community. So that's also another thing that we do is we encourage MUAC tapes, which are a middle upper arm circumference tape that can be used in communities. And it's helped with community programming, which has revolutionized nutrition programming, allowing community leaders to say, hey guys, when you come into our community, we know exactly where the children that need help are. And it reduces time, it reduces uncertainty in how to navigate community dynamics, because community leaders are already saying, these are the kids, measure them again, here you go. And it's been really helpful to ensure that no child gets left behind.
And why are these therapeutic foods so effective compared to maybe more traditional food groups that people are more used to? What is it about these products that make them really valuable in those communities?
Yeah, so we get that question a lot because, you know, they're always saying we're not the only manufacturer of this product, but we just happen to be one based in the United States. So we get the question of, what about, like, you know, food that's grown in country? Isn't that better? Well, the reason we produce this is because when a child becomes so malnourished, they can't eat food. It's literally lethal to them to eat whole foods. And at that point in time, they need something that is more easily digestible, that's a little bit easier for them to consume, and to also deal with the lack of appetite. When you're that hungry, you're not hungry. And so that's how the paste is really easy to consume, is because you can mix it with water for little babies so that they can then drink it like that. And that's often an easy way for them to consume it. Or you can then give it to them and in the sachet form, which they can then eat and take throughout the day and work on it, which is really helpful because it's easier to consume. It's less intense for the body to digest, and it has just enough vitamins and minerals that it's not dangerous for the child to consume. So, you know, we take it very seriously. What we do, we manufacture in a very clean, sterile environment. All the products that are manufactured straight off the line go straight into boxes. And if they're handled with gloves, you know, high level food safety measures, because these are going to be going to kids that they'll be putting it in their mouths, they'll be eating it. So everything about what we do is to ensure that the child is able to eat food safely and in a way that actually restores the loss of, you know, weight or the physical stunting that they're dealing with.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we're also wondering, with malnutrition rates increasing globally, and you know the Sustainable Development Goal about achieving food security, that seems so distant. What could we do, on a global scale and an individual level, to generate positive change?
Yeah, I think that this year has been incredibly interesting because the COVID-19 pandemic has really suppressed, in a way, humanitarian action. It's put up bigger boundaries that have been harder to, you know, deal with and to overcome. And at the same time, I think the world has seen how much need there is. And so that has been one of the biggest factors in securing more funding in a way that we've never seen. So recently, USA just released millions of dollars, hundreds of millions, for these products and for their programming. And in turn, though we're seeing high levels of starvation and undernourishment all over the world, we're also seeing an awakening where governments and organizations alike are saying, we can't keep doing this. The next generation of humanity is going to suffer. And so I think as we feel like we are getting further away from our, you know, goal that the UN has set to say, you know, we're going to end hunger, we are further away from that today than we probably have been in the last 20 years. And that's a reality. There's no, you know, changing that. But what we can't do is let that defeat us. And so at Edesia, we strive every day to feed more and more kids. We optimize our lines. We are procuring more materials. We are adding in shifts. We are striving to ensure that our output is higher each day so that no child's life is lost. And that's what matters, is that though we're getting further away from meeting our goal, we have people who are striving every day to make sure that that stops today. And that's what's important, is that that's a message that often gets lost. And that's where we're trying to, showcase what we're doing through our advocacy and our outreach. We're saying to our partners, this is what we're doing. Here's how our expansion is going. Here's how we're trying to, do this in a way that can positively impact and communities and offer more opportunities for our partners to procure products. So I will say, how can we create positive change? Spread the word. Let people know what positive things are happening, how much funding is going out, where is it going, how many crises are there in this world, and how is the funding being allocated? If one country is being undershot, how can we raise awareness for that country to then increase funding capacity or opportunities through public or private donations to those countries or to organizations that are looking to solve hunger? And I think it's also highly important that we talk about local procurement and production as well, because in this stream of positive change, Edesia's job is to become unemployed. Our whole goal is to get to a state in life where we don't need to be in existence. We want children to be fed. We want there to be local opportunities to procure food. And that's what's happening when we encourage either local organizations to procure from local suppliers, or who then also procure from local farmers to then manufacture their product. So we're trying in our best way to encourage local production. But at the end of the day, just like Edesia, we have a capacity limit, and they do too. And that's where we come in. So I think with this positive change is that there's always someone striving to do something good, and to treat these children, and then also recognize like what can be done there with local action, and how can you support that too.
Amazing. Yeah, I think local action, like you said, is so valuable and really important that we really invest in that and provide communities with the space and support to be able to sustain themselves and grow. And I think that's a really important message as well to carry out.
It is. It's one of those things that Edesia will never take money from an organization that is looking to procure product from us when there is a local producer in the country that they're looking to send product to.
Mm-hmm.
We always refer them to go to that manufacturer instead. And it's helped us build really honest relationships. And in turn, it's built a community within nutrition programming that is more resilient than people have any idea of what's going on. Just to say, this is what's going on. These are the shortages that I'm having. How can this organization or this manufacturer help, and how can Edesia help? And that's really built a level of trust within our own company and our organization and how we operate, but then providing a reality check saying, money's great, but it's not everything.
Mm-hmm.
There are real people and real life consequences to kind of outshining local production, and we want to shy away from that as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we also align with all the things you mentioned, definitely. And on that note, we're wondering, how have you found the collaboration with MOAS so far, Edesia?
MOAS is amazing. There's so much life within the organization. Every time we reach out, there's so much excitement happening. There's this level of enthusiasm that is just bringing life back into what we do every time we have the opportunity to work with MOAS. From coordinating a donation shipment to figuring out how to connect new partners. It's been an absolute joy seeing how much MOAS and Edesia have been able to grow together and collaborate in ways that are kind of unexpected. Reaching out saying, hey, there's this organization that's looking to have your product. Let's see what we can do. Let's get a better feel for what's going on. Is there anyone in that country that Edesia knows that we can connect them with to really build up their nutrition program? Is there a way that we can then send them product? What are the barriers to doing so? How can we overcome that? How far do we have to go to get the product to the children that absolutely need it? And that's the one thing that I've really enjoyed about MOAS is that there's no boundary too big to overcome. And it's something that Edesia shares. And whenever we're able to work together, we overcome it. And we always move forward in a way that makes us stronger. And I will say year after year, MOAS sends Edesia updates on what's going on. They let us know how many children have been impacted in a positive way, how many have recovered. And it's an absolute privilege to be able to see the smiling faces of the children who are no longer at risk of death due to hunger.
I think we really echo what you're saying. It's so important for NGOs to work together and really build together, because that's the only way we're going to be able to really fill gaps and really make sure the service provision is there. So I think we completely echo what you're saying there. It's all about collaboration.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of leads on to our final question. What are your plans for the future? And are there any exciting new projects or anything like that on the horizon for you?
Always new projects, always something going on.
What we like to hear.
So, yeah, don't worry. So Edesia is actually in the middle of an expansion project that's, kind of been a year and a half in the making and will be another year and a half till completion. So we built our current factory in 2016, and that was amazing. It increased our capacity, but once again, we need more. And it's really unfortunate to say that. It's really unfortunate to look at the state of, malnutrition in the world and to say what we're doing is currently not enough, but we can do better. And that's what we're striving for. Our team works diligently every single day to figure out how can we manufacture more cartons a week? What are the barriers? What time delays do we have? How can we change products more quickly when we change from producing Plumpy Nut to Plumpy Sup? And how can we add in more lines? Do we need more warehouse space? Where can we put that? And so there's a lot of collaboration that's going on right now saying, how do we move forward knowing what our needs are and how do we reach it? So every week we strive to make a certain blend count. So that blend then feeds into the sachets and increases how many cartons we can make a week. And so we're constantly saying, what is the percentage of output? How can we do better? Then we're also looking and saying, how can we physically pack sachets, quicker? Like, how do we fill them? How do we put them in the cartons? How do we automate it in a way that we can train our staff to then handle the automation process, as well as actually overseeing that no mistakes are made by, the automation. And so all of it is a giant learning process, to say the least. That's what is at the forefront of what we're doing. And then in addition to that, when it comes to new products, we're constantly testing our shelf stability. We're constantly testing what new raw commodities we can use. And as everyone's well aware, there is an increase in raw commodities right now. And that's really made us question, how do we formulate? How do we, determine what are the percentages and breakdowns in a way that not only meets UN specification, but matches what we're witnessing in terms of cost. So right now, the cost of peanuts has gone up, but we're also having issues with soy flour and being able to diversify our suppliers to receive soy flour that's actually at a high enough quality standard that we can use it in our products. So I think our R&D team is, really heavily focused on keeping costs as low as possible, and then to also dabble with new formulations, like for instance, Plumpy Mum, which is used to treat and prevent malnutrition in pregnant and lactating women. WFP is really interested in this product, so that's something that we recently just developed the formula for. And once WFP starts procuring it and sets out an expectation for packaging, then we'll be able to sell that to any organization that's looking for the product. So there's lots going on, and there's a lot of different moving pieces. And throughout this, we're increasing our staff. We're increasing our expertise, and in a way that's really bringing Edesia together to say, how do we navigate the challenges that we're facing in the logistics industry in terms of the procurement and how we actually manufacture to get to our end goal. So it's just a privilege to be a part of Edesia.
Yeah. You sound very busy. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. We've learned a lot, and hopefully our listeners have too, about malnutrition and what we can kind of do to tackle it together. So thank you so much from MOAS.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time to interview me. I hope that, I was able to offer some clarity on what's happening. So
amazing. Yes, thank you.